All right. Okay. So, oh, I think I know this one. All right. All right. Okay, hopefully from the line. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so let's get started so that we can get stuff done. So I have the two that attend today, so I don't know if we did this around. Is we did around? No, it's not. We are getting online. Probably we did it also now. I think that the idea is that time to update the contact information, but the link should be, at least I saw the one from React that was posted in A1 as a reply to, so I think the post right before from Dan Xinjiang. She put the link as a reply. Which means that yeah, if you're in the room, you can probably connect her. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, I'll try to keep it to see. Doing. Okay, so this week didn't start. Oh, I think I need to start.
Sometimes it's asking you to view the classroom. On Zoom.
Okay, that's cool. I guess the TVs are off. So I guess I need to shut it down and hopefully it's going to restart to get the screen. Time around. Okay, we have to do it twice. Okay, cool. All right. Again, I guess I'm sure it's great. Hopefully we can get going. Do you know how to enable the TV in the back? Yeah, somebody was asking about that. It's on? Okay, good. Share. Okay, cool. All right. That was faster than the first time. Great, that's start to time. Okay, so today we're going to start playing around with some of the tools so we get to complexity of right, so hopefully everybody was able to install all these things. So problem is the problem, the node and the VS Code. So node do use the LTS that is the version. Do not choose the other one. The reason is that yeah, the 14.17.5. The reason is that if you use this one, they usually use features that are breaking the packages. And if you run into global, it's very difficult to understand where the drive is coming from. So the recommended one. So once you install Node, you get what's called this thing that's called NPM, that is the objective manager for Node. And we're going to see how to use it. Get data ID, that is the Visual Studio Code. So somebody asked what this last instruction be here. So if you're using the terminal, then if you're on Mac, you need to do this to set up the shell command so that you can call the editor from the command line, which it's useful if you're using it to command line to check out the repositories, then you want to start it or in the same folder where you get the code. Not sure what is the noise. It's probably the noise is probably the AC. Unless it's a bumping noise, in which case I might be bumping in the desk, but I'm trying not to do it anymore. So if you install the Visual Studio Code on a Windows system, it's going to do this automatically. If you're on Mac, you need to call the command palette. So I can do this for you. We are one instance that is open. So the palette is what you see. Yeah, showing up there. So there is a binding that in Mac is Shift Command P. And in there, if you start typing, what was it again? Shell command install. Okay. Yeah, you see the thing it shows up here, but I installed code command plus is on there, so you just select it. I did already. So it does it again. And then what happens is that if I open up a terminal, I have to go minus n is open a new window here, and then let's just hit it starts a new instance. This is new. Yes, I pressed my stuff. Just following yeah, okay. Yeah, there are new stuff already. So sometimes people are surprising. Okay. So hopefully everybody get that part done. So you can start get display, but you can also use this type of ID from here. So if you look workspaces, it is listed there in your files. And otherwise, you can just start a new instance and open files for folders with menu. I'm not sure if the drag and drop works, probably it doesn't. So if you're in Mac Windows, you can probably drag and drop things in there. Okay, so any problem with that, or everybody's good to go? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, good. Okay. So the Git. So everybody's familiar with it. You have been training your mobile web. Fantastic. Okay, the GitHub desktop is, if you're not familiar with the command line, that's something that you want to use. You basically connect with your GitHub user ID, and then I think we even list the repositories that are available, which in our case might not be that useful because you first need to accept the assignments there. Eventually, it should show up there. Yeah, let's get on with the assignment. So what I noticed is we get the extraordinary on the case that we use GitHub classroom for all the assignments. And then in there, the assignment will show up things week1 and then username. And that's what we want to do. So we need to match this to your USC email. That is the username part. And so I guess a lot of folks have created their GitHub accounts for USC again, or they find something original here, which is great. But then we need to do the mapping. So I'm just hoping that we can resolve that. It seems that the only way it's possible is that you create, if you don't have an account, a USC, an account with your USC username. And in that case, that will match perfectly. If you do have a GitHub account, then the chances are that you're using the USC email as the primary email for the account or the secondary. In both cases, we only see whatever username you create the account with. So there the workaround, and I don't know how practical it is to do that, or to around with the TAs so that we clarify nothing. But if we go this route, then what we need to do is remove your USC account email from your current account, which basically means use a different email address for the account. So then you create a GitHub account with the USC email that is independent, and then that will work well. But obviously, some work. There is some work that you need to do. So for today, I think we can just go and play around with this when we do the submission. Hopefully, somebody will try it this pathway and can give us feedback if it's something that he or she thinks that the others can do, or if it's really too complicated and simpler that we work out the mapping. Okay. But for today, we can just start with whatever account you have. So we start doing the lab. So you get acquainted to how to proceed with the labs. And later on, we can, when it's time to submit around this week, we're going to finalize how we work out the usernames. And you have another repository in case that you need to use. case we always do use it. Okay, so how many get the chance to get the repository for the homework? I want different just to get an idea. Okay, so we get 10-15%. Okay, so what I can do is show you how to do it, and then I think you can do it at the same time. Okay, so yeah, I have these things here. Let me remove the part from here. So I'm listing it in personal page, and I think that some folks still have trouble to access it from there. So I added in week 1 the links for the material, simply something that is in the personal page. And you have here the link that you can use. So go to your Blackboard, and then you should be able to get it from here. Probably you want to open this in a new tab. Here we go, and all you have to do is basically accept the assignment, and then it tells you that you accepted it. Okay, so we'll go down here. So just to refresh this page to save your dates. Okay, here we go. And so here you have the link that you need to use to go. Make sure here. Copy link. Copy address. I can do this in a regular terminal. So you have created just a folder. I think the instructions are also in the page here. So for those who are not familiar with this is script. People are used to use the Unix shell. Yes, no. And so this is the command that create the directory named here. Cd add person to the directory, and here we're showing the git clone. So what I can show you, so this is on Mac, on Windows, you should be able to use the terminal as well. If you install Git, I think the bash Git is a tool that comes with the Git installation. That is a Unix terminal, so you can basically do the same there. The last option is to do it on a new window. So the Visual Studio Code has an integrated terminal that you can call with Apple J or somewhere in menus. New terminal here. And so it appears here at the bottom. I think you can even change the shell that you're using on Mac. The default is CSH, but on Windows probably is Bash. And so I think let's put this here, put this on this stuff. Yeah, here we go. So with Unix as opposed to, I think now it's also working in Windows, but if you hit tab, then it completes. So here I see which means I enter this directory that I created with a name here before. And as you can see, there is I found the COVID-19 directory for later on. It takes forever. So what we want to do is git clone. And yeah, just paste this and that should work out. Okay, so this is new. So this is their. I don't think that they allow you to do this right now. Was removed again, so we were off the flag. Was removed a week ago. Okay. Okay. Those who figured it out, SSH or use the maybe the easier pathway is to set up the GitHub. GitHub desktop. Let's see if it works there. So from repository. Somewhere else.
Professor,
Yeah.
can we just download the report computer?
You can do that. Yeah. Yeah. So let me try with the GitHub desktop and then I can show that. Oh, I need to do this. Yeah, so depending on the connection level of the repositories, I think it's loading. So hopefully for you it's going to be faster. So you don't have to paste the link as you there. You want to wait for it to load all the repositories and then you need to find it. 554. Okay. I don't know which one it is. It's making this one because that's the early ones from last year. So let's give it a try. So you have it here, and it should show up also here. So it's a little bit confusing with the repositories. So yeah, so this is the one from last year. From this year, sorry. Yeah. I think my job somewhere is not pointed. That's the global structure for the. So you clone it directly into this V1. This one. So you can use the command to fix around. We are moving it one level higher. So and cd.dot takes you one level. Now I'm going to use the command line to show you how to do it, but you obviously you can just move it with the Explorer or your Mac Finder. You have it here on the desktop, and so you can obviously when we don't see it anymore, you can continue and work from here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it from the website. I can try to do that for you too. I'll try to figure out how to fix the command line. Yeah. Just trying to make my life very hard. So we went to go to GitHub. We're actually here. Okay, so if you click the link, it's going to take this. No, this is not. Okay, it's complicated for me because I have this GitHub cluster, but you give me a second. I should be able to. Okay. Yep. Okay, so yeah, I have to keep a question so I see everybody's repository. So for me, it's a little bit more complicated, but hopefully you can get to this link here, where you have your username. And this is basically the hosted version of the GitHub repository on the GitHub domain. And you can download, I think it's here. So here you have the instruction for cloning with HTTPS. You can open GitHub desktop if you install it. If you install it, you see that you need to log in and authorize it. And here you can download the zip, which I'm going to try. I'm curious to know what it says. Okay, where you downloads, so you can open it up. And so what I'm doing is just looking into it to see if it just downloads the files over. Yeah, so that's what they for. Okay, so this is a good. So if you do the download, the problem of doing the download is if you look at it, do you see where the repository is? Yeah, I mean, they're in the listing. Okay, so here I'm going to see this one that we cloned. Yeah, so on the left side is the one that we cloned with the GitHub desktop, and this is the one that we got with the download. Yeah, and now you can see that there are some files that are missing here. Right here, the .git file is not there. Yeah. So the .git file is the clone version of your repository. The rest of the files are just files that have been checked out for you, so you can work on it. When you do the download, you're only getting the files. So when it's time to put them back in your stuff, yeah, you still need to do a clone, and then you need to override what is in the clone with the files that you work on. Yeah, so you're better off trying to clone from scratch. Yeah. Yeah. Another way to look at this, so the ls minus email list all files with the details. That's what it does. That's how I get these dots. The other thing is that you can do here, you can issue the skip commands. So this one will work. Here is going to complain that yeah, it doesn't know what this folder is about, right? Because it doesn't recognize it as a Git repository. Yeah, the top Git is not here. But there is no get into this, but cd.get. And so basically, it's all that device to get database where you keep track of the changes. The config file is something that sometimes you look at that tells you where the repository is coming from, which branch it is, and then now it's referenced. Okay. So sometimes you change the name of the repository, like on GitHub, and you want to use what you have on your drive, you need to go and match the name obviously, so that it knows what. But yeah. So is everybody able to clone at this point? Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming that we're good, and so then I'll go on. Okay, yeah. So you have the instruction here for the GitHub desktop. That's the one that we should try. But in VS Code, we can do the clones. So then let's see if this works. Oh yeah. So again, I'm doing it with the palette exactly at the time to see if it works. It's clone. Okay, and then I guess that we just need to put the Git repository there. Okay, so far so good. So that seems to be the easiest. If it works, it seems to be by far the easiest. Okay, looks like he did it. So let's go and check. Yeah, did it. Fantastic. So this is the window. Would you like to open the repository or open? How are you? Right. So again, what I think is opening a new window with Illustrator code, and then actually complement in close and test the URL that we got from here. Okay, so if you ask me which one is the best option of the node, I would go with this one. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, this one I can't show you. So this is using command 9. Obviously, we did install it before. So I'm going to do is I open the folder, so I'm going to use the original one. And I'm going to do a new window here, and that should show us exactly the same thing. So this is to check that you have the code command 9. So this is a command 9. So like this is a good help is great. Good. then that's again standard with the Unix commands that you can do this code minus. Now, most of them we won't use a separate terminal as I'm doing here. But the one that is in the Studio Code, that again you get by following the terminal with new terminal, and so it's basically the same as the other one. But the advantage is that you can work in the same folder where you have your code, and it opens there, so you do not need to find your way around. And most of the installation commands that you do for Node, you would do them there because it's right where you have to go. So but before we get there, I'll give you a little bit of a tour of all the files that are there. So starting from the top, the assignment that you have been is extension is MD. So these are markdown files, and I don't know if you're familiar with it. So it's a kind of simplified markdown language that people have developed tools to map automatically to HTML, so you can generate HTML pages from it. And that's basically what you see in your GitHub for the reading. And that's not automatically. I think we read this. So you see that whatever is in the readme shows up automatically there. I think if I open this one, it will also render it. So this is what we see there is the rendering of the rubric. And that you can either look at it obviously on the GitHub website, or you can take a look at it in Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code has also that rendering ability. So if you open the file, it's going to show the markup. But then if you click here, this little icon with the magnifying glass upright, then you will get the rendering next to it. Okay. And it's also scrolling, so that's not for anything to mark down, but if you want, you can also just see it in one page like this, and that's how you read the homework. So what's on this assignment, basically the rubric, it tells you what to do and how the homework is graded. Yeah. So that's probably the first thing that you want to take a look at. So we're going to go through the lab, and when we're done, we might go back here and see if there are questions, so that we can find some part for the assignment. Okay. The rest of the files, let me go back. I'm trying to show you again. I can show it here. Let's see it here. So the rest of the files here, aside from the big B that you can see, we have this .git ignore. I'll tell you a little bit more about this in a moment. So Git is going to add all sorts of files by default, but if there are things that you don't want to put in the repository that are better for developed folders or third-party libraries, or that are content that doesn't really belong here, then you just set them apart. And the way you do this is that you list them into this .git. So for the moment, there's just this node modules that is in there, and that it's a folder that is going to get created at some point. And that's that point a second. The text of the HTML file, that's usually when you have a website, the file that gets loaded by default is the in-text of HTML. So a web server is just a program that is trying to take as input a URL, and then it maps this to the resources of files that it has locally. And it gets to look at what your current folder where the URL maps. If there is a file that is indexed by HTML, in that case, we return that. Unless you name it explicitly in the URL with a different name. So this one we're going to take a look at it later on. The package, the JSON package, look the JSON, so these are empty files. So npm the T is for package. So node is basically an interpreter for the field. So if you go in the console here, you can type node, and then you have your similar. If you type Python, you have Python interpreters. Here we just have the interpreter for JavaScript. So you can say a equal. I like it, right? Equal the nodes and the set string, and then the return value is whatever it decides that the creating this variable should return this value. In this case, returns a string. You see that here, double quotes and single quotes it could be the same thing. So that's actually the case. And you see, if I just type A, it's going to suggest it's showing the actual value that is encoded in the variable. And if you type return, it's going to print it out. Yeah. So that's for node. Now node, obviously, it's like any other programming language. You can write shell scripts that we're trying to do here. But eventually things get complicated, so you end up developing libraries, and then you want to package them so that people can use them. That's what npm is good for. Yeah. So npm is a repository, it's a package manager for a repository of JavaScript that form into different forms, such as modules, but you don't really need to worry about that. The only thing that you need to know is how to oops, it's quit. Now it's good. Control D breaks it. The only thing that you need to know is how to go and use third-party libraries, and we're going to use obviously those for doing graphics and plots. For this homework and all the others, they are already set up with some of these libraries through this package that is from a company to see what it is. So the JSON format is JavaScript object notation. So that's similar to you have the same type of notation in Python as well. So the objects in JavaScript are the curly braces, and they're just property values. So you have a key, JSON needs to be a string, and then you have a value that also needs to be a string, and you can separate it with commas, and you can have as many as you want. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because you can call arrays and other things, but that's basically the basic. So here you see what is in our package, the JSON file. So at the top, you have the key value fields. was created. We're here to create one just for fun later on. And that you also is NPM. And it's going to ask us to basically provide information that is going to be encoded in this file. Here, I just it's returned in the other automatic. You see that the main entry point is index.js. We don't get part, that's matter. The second section here is this is an object that is inside another object. This one is also a key value here, as you can see. So the key is scripts and the value is an object that has key value pairs. Yeah, so it's just key value pairs here. And there is so these scripts are scripts that you can run. So the first one is start, and you see that it's doing this browser sync start, whatever it looks complicated. And the second one is test. And say it's I don't know what you want to test because you are not test, it's fine. Yeah, the author is just in return. And so you put a blank space in there. And then you see this dependencies. Now the browser sync is the same browser sync that you have there. So these are the node packages that have installed. Browser sync is to start on local web server to serve the pages, and the highlight.js is a library for that assignment to nice. And you see that the version over here, so the greater the little button there is a version where it needs web 2. So it's basically listed there because at some point I did install them, and when you install it's just a matter of when npm do install on the letters or -i package name. And then as soon as you do this, it's going to write it into this file automatically. So you don't need to bother. And it's going also to change this package log to JSON that you don't want to build with, but that you want to put in the repository. And that's done automatically when you create such a repository with NPM. But these packages, as you can see, they're not there. And this is because when you install it, they do get uploaded, and they get put into this folder that we saw before in this development notes. Now, for each one of these, this is a lot of code that people have written so that you can use, but you don't want to keep track of it. Right? And so the way you keep track of the fact what you're using is by listing. By the fact that it's listed here and the package the JSON. But then in your repository, you don't want to commit it. And that's why the node modules is ignored. Right? Okay? So now we want this library back. So the way to do it is to do a npm install. And I think they put this here. So usually the NPM put things that are needed to get point. So here you see that so this is markdown, and here it's a code block. Like you could put a sage or a bash, whatever you like, and then here it gets rendered as a code block that is highlighted because the pound sign or comments. It shows it for you in a nice way. So what we need to do is to just run this npm install as suggested, which is best done in here in the console command. Okay. And see that it's going to add the node modules. Yeah, so they keep updating these links every 5 minutes. And so sometimes you have some of these messages, but you shouldn't worry unless they tell you to do something about it. So here, so we were expecting to see the browser sync and then the highlight JS. But then what's happening here is that we get we're only up to be here. So these are all the packages that are dependent on the browser sync and highlight JS. So all those libraries are using stuff that others have developed, and so they do what you're doing. They're pulling them from NPM. So and the package manager knows that okay, for this package I need to go and get all of these, and that's why they get listed. Okay. So it's looks complicated, but if you do it right, it's just working. Yeah. So yeah. So the bottom line is never commit this node module, because you might get trouble of older versions, and then the packages that you install are not to be compatible. That's what you have here. So just let the NPM for the job.
Professor,
Yeah.
so we need to adjust the vulnerabilities. There's still to be more well high.
When you're talking about the vulnerabilities,
yeah.
So some of these packages have vulnerabilities that they keep coming up. So if you see the silent JS is 9.16.2 because I set it up last year. So the new version has been updated, and it's telling you that we should upgrade the version of these libraries. So yeah, for our spot, I put it for it. Now, if this would be a production system, then I would go ahead and do the NPM command. Whatever is listed in the package, the JSON, you saw that the regular version numbers, that is going to get the latest. Yeah. Where is it? It's here. Yeah. That's the one that is complaining about what is the latest version. If you want to know, with me, I think that the way to do is just to do yes. You see people are looking for that. So yeah, so NPM has this nice content where you can see making uploads here. So you get a feel, because there are millions. It's actually the largest repository of code, believe it or not. And so you see that here you get 6 million weekly downloads for this highlight JS. Okay. So this is a package that is super decent. That's why they have all this warnings about all the security warnings. But you see that it's 11. It's 11.20 that we have 9.90. So we're two major yeah, because every you see every few weeks they have a new version. It's okay. Yeah.
We need to do the audit fix on the.
Can you speak up?
We need to do the audit fix.
Do we need to do that? No, don't worry.
But in the time we do that,
It's done.
Like, and I just have it on.
Oh, yeah. If you want to update it, you can speak. But what I'm saying is that we're talking about this vulnerability are usually security risks where people can, touch your system maybe by using functionality of the system of the library. But as long as you only use it on your computer, it's not a concern. Right? There might be new things in the library that we may want to use. But I think that the syntax I like in there didn't change much there. Yeah. Yeah. Now, for the projects, you probably want to make sure that you have the especially with, so some of the graphics libraries are forgettable. Still in development, they keep changing them, so and you might lose features that you may want. Okay. Yeah, so that's basically it. So what I want to do today is to go through the rest of the sections here. So there is one folder that is the lab, and that's what we're going to try to look at today. And then there is the index that I think has the some facts for me. Let me see. I think it's finished. Yeah. So once you have installed things, then you can do the next item here in the README, that is to do the npm run serve. Now again, there is no magic here. npm run serve does what is written here. Yeah, it is going to start this one. So it's just a shortcut. And this is a browser, the browser sync package. What it does is that it starts in this folder on server, and is going to look at all the files that are here. It's going to see if there are any changes to the files. It's going to start the server for 2000. So I could do this. Yeah, I don't know if you can, maybe I could. Let me try to break out this. Wait. So this works. So here I'm just executing the npm start serve command. Okay, and you see that it starts the web server that is here for 2000. You can click on the link here and open a new window in the browser. And it's working for me because I installed browser sync into the whole system. Which you can do is if you want to do this, you need to do npm -g and then go to C. So the -g installs it globally, and so it's going to be available in the fastest way component. Okay. So on the Mac, it is the same thing. On Windows, you need to do something so that you give the permission to install it system-wide. It's on the Mac is sudo. I'm sorry, some people don't be able to see it on here. Sudo -g and then browser speed. If you want to call it. If you want to call it. Okay, and usually when you have command line tools, that you need to do that. Right. Yeah, my lighting there for the links is at least on Mac only works inside the develop window. You do it on another window. You want don't see the new line, then it has to be deleted. Then or you need to copy your line. Select the copy. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to restart it with SDF browser, and you'll see that it does the same thing. Yeah, which gives us this page. It's not loading the index of HTML, even though it's the default because I think let's put this option to do the directory, so it's showing us the directory as well as one of the file. So, but if we load the file, this is going to render it. Right? That's what is in this HTML file. That does not much, as we can see. Okay, so yeah, so exactly the same on board. You see, this one out there, this bigger for you. The better. Okay, so you're there. You click the link and then it's going to open the browser. Now, why are we doing this? Why are we going through all this complexity to start a server to show the status? Do you see a reason why we're doing this or why we would do it?
This is how you written your HTML. It has to be through a browser.
Yeah, but if you have from install, you can double click an HTML file and then you will see it, right?
This is in the non-environment.
This is, yeah, our index here was very simple. It was just a piece of text. So if I double click the file, I guess that we can see the same, right? Yeah. So there is really no advantage at this level. The advantage is as soon as you start putting it directly into the page, then you start writing all the JavaScript into the page. Because then, if when you make changes to the page, you need the browser to reload. And that's the main objective for this. It's basically syncing your changes with what is on the browser. And that's why you put a watch in the command line here. So this guy says, if you change anything, I want you to refresh the view. And so if you have mistakes, you see it right away. You don't need to spin around. So if the other reason is if you're loading data into your page, it won't work if you just do the file. So here you simply do HTTPS, so we're using the HTTP for the code. This is a real server. It's only the same your machine. When you contact a web page, you're talking to a remote machine. That is basically the same. It's the same protocol. Usually it's the HTTPS, so that you can trust it. But in this case, again, we can trust ourselves. So there is no need to start anything more. Okay. So if you think about dashboards, that build visualization, they need data. So the data are not living in the page. Because usually it's too much, or if it's dynamic, that I want to choose which data I'm going to show you, right? So in that case, what it needs is that the server needs to be able to provide you with this data. If you have a CSV file or any other format that is alongside, that contains the data, this is alongside your HTML file, and you load it into your browser will refuse to go in and load the CSV file because it's a local file. There is a security risk with it. Yeah, so there are ways to drink it, but it's not practical. And so as soon as you start loading data, you need to run a real server. And the server will take care of the request, because the page will pop this guy, then this guy will say, oh, okay, you want me to get this file on the drive. The browser sync here goes that is a fake server is working just for you. And that is fine that it goes and open the page. Yep. As long as it's in the same folder. Because it's not allowed to go outside. So those are things to keep in mind, and that's part of why it's complicated to do these things. Now hopefully the rest of the section we're going to see how to debug this stuff, because that's the other point of that makes things complicated. Because the JavaScript is not that crazy here, but what gets complicated is that, oh my god, it's not working, I don't see anything. How do I find my way around? Check things. Yeah, so I think we are overdue for a break. So we do at least a 10-minute break, and then we'll continue with the rest.
Hello. Okay. Or maybe that's it. It looks like it, yeah.
But can they hear you?
I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Can you hear us better?
It's a direct yes.
Okay. We switched to the laptop. The mic on the laptop.
Oh, this is
Now we're using this one.
yeah, now it's
Yeah.
this is that.
I guess so then. They're not listening in.
Yeah, I think we sent a direct message. If you ask everyone, like if you change it.
Oh, this is just
Yeah.
everyone. Oh, okay. I really need help.
it's very, the system's very sensitive. Like the system here.
Oh wow, that was quick.
Oh. So it's better, right?
Yeah. Oh. Yes, what? Oh, she can hear, or she can hear better. Okay. Oh,
This is
here,
the
here.
classroom.
Oh, wait, so we need to mute the classroom.
Oh no, it's already on.
No, but we can mute it here.
It'll be the same.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the same.
You can ask her
Where,
directly.
where is the classroom?
Go down.
That's it?
Oh, this is this?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
muted.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the deal is to mute the classroom,
Mhm.
either from here or from there.
From yeah, I think yeah, it's the same.
Okay, thanks.
But they can hear us, right? I mean,
Oh, we were right into the classroom. Okay. Okay, so let me write to Mac to see
yeah,
how
they can
she's doing.
hear.
All right, let's see. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, come with me. Okay, so let me stop share.
Lydia can send you.
Was
the
that
email.
complicated? Was that complicated to do?
So just for A1, my name is the BCDHANG.
Yeah, that's fine. But the switch to the USC,
yeah.
was that complicated to do?
It's a little complicated since sometimes like his username has been already paid for the USC ID, so he can't take it as the username.
Oh, so you cannot.
Yeah.
Oh no,
So
so I'm trying to create another account with my US email and then my username is taken.
Okay.
So someone was stuck at the exact same problem, and so he said that you can set your US email to be public on your personal account. So if we can do that, can we just use our personal GitHub account and just set the public email to your US email?
That works.
But then
for the
username that will be attached to like A1, A2
It's different.
will be different.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, so we can do the. I mean, I have a solution for this,
So actually, my username.
but it sounds complicated
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
It sounds complicated. So I think what we should do is whoever can, like you, has no problem changing. Maybe they can do it because that doesn't sound too complicated. And then the others will make sure that we have the mapping. So you need to communicate with the TA and say that this is me.
Okay, so for my situation, maybe I can email for TA just for A1.
No, I think you need to do it. So let me try to see if I can do it.
Oh, that's good. Change the response rate name.
Oh, here, GitHub Classroom. Okay, so which one is it?
It's CZHNG.
A1.
A1. CZHH. Is that like oh, I think the submit is that the problem? Have not submit. Or is that
I don't see it. Oh, wait. Yeah,
oh,
this, no, this is correct. It's A1.
oh, let me just say, oh, seems like it's because I
Oh, so we
changed the,
no, we don't want to put A1. Maybe.
maybe I think it should be the, I changed the username, maybe you can check it.
No, so we say,
CHUXI.
oh, sorry. Or maybe you change it.
Mhm.
No, this is A1.
A1, so just search the CHUXI, it might change the username.
No, the previous one.
The
We're good for
previous
A1.
A1, yeah, okay.
Okay, so I think it's just the CZ.
So
There's not that many.
See, it seems like it's just search for user, but not for the response name.
Okay, let me go back here. Okay, so the username you were saying, okay, so it's the other way around.
Oh, it's here. CHU. Excellent. Okay, you can just search it. I think it will be. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, this is good. Because then we know we
Yeah,
got.
but for the response name, okay, so is that not matter for just
No, this is
for,
good. This is
for
good.
the folder name? I mean the response name.
So go to the repo. Or the,
Yeah, you can see
the repo is
here.
still the name. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing that we can do is, oh, why don't we just encode it?
For what?
Why don't we have people write it in
Right,
the
in the
README?
README. Yeah, we could copy match community. Just
That's
write
the
it.
simplest, no?
Yeah, I think so. Just write the username in README. Yeah. I would be great.
Yeah, either in the README or just we invent a file.
So you can also maintain a like Google Sheet where we can upload our GitHub names and user names.
Yeah, no, but it's 70, so I was trying to avoid and find a solution, but so yeah, let me think. Maybe we create an ID dot MD and we do it here. Sorry?
In the README,
Yeah.
we can also put like our student ID in there too.
The student ID, we don't care. We just matching so that we can link to Blackboard. Cool. Okay. I'm glad that we found this. Sorry?
就是把名字和用
Oh, the lights. Yeah.
不用改了，
好。
Ooh, scary. Yeah, there is only one control for the X1. Is that better like this? Okay. So it's time. Okay, if we didn't. Okay. Okay. So it seems that we found a solution for the question of the usernames. So I'm going to try to find and I'll post in because we don't need to resolve it now. I'll post in Slack. But we're going to create a file that is, I don't know, id.md or something like this. And you put your username in a format that we can just read automatically. So we can write the script that tells us. Yeah. But I'll give the specs for that tomorrow. So for the moment, just use whatever GitHub ID you have we'll be fine. Okay, cool. All right. So let's continue. And I need to share screen. Okay, I don't know where we are here. We're at the right place. Yeah, we're at the right place. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go through these. They're simple examples on how do you use a simple is a simple node-based command line application. The simple HTML is just an HTML page, and the simple view is a view framework. So I'll tell you more as we get to it. Okay, and the main point really is to see what you have to play with and how you debug each one of the modalities. Okay. Okay. So the simple.exe is people call this thing CLI these days, command line interface. So node is an example of it, and you remember that you have the standard argument that you can put after node -L to get the for the command. So we're going to use a JavaScript library that does that, similar to Git, where you have Git clone, etc. for those are commands, and for play around with the Git command line, you'll see that you have all the else that is integrated. So we're doing this with this thing that is called Commander, that is just another JavaScript library that does it. And we're going to build it's already created, but we're going to run it and just see how you can debug it. That takes a CSV and outputs a JSON. So CSV is comma separated values. In JSON is the thing that we discussed earlier. So those are the two main formats that we're going to use for visualization, be it in Python or in JavaScript. That's what all the packages are using. So it's handy to know how to move from one to the other. And we're doing this as a project with Node and NPM. So we're initializing the NPM system, getting this, installing these libraries, and then writing some code to do the command line interface, the change mod plus X is to make it executable, and this is to run it. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do this on a side directory, and then we're going to go and run the example that is in there. So this is basically how I created the example that you have code. The code is already created, so you can just do an npm install and then execute it. Because as you can see, I think it's already, you see it's in red, it's already executable, so you can just run it. Yeah, but we'll do that after. So you see how we create this thing, so you don't think that there is too much magic in there. Okay, so I'll do this outside here. So PWD prints the current working directory. So that's where we are in my laptop. So I'm going to embed here simple exe, whatever. Okay, so we do an npm init. So the npm init, we can put -L And yeah, it prints tons of things. So what it does is that it initializes the environment for npm, creating the package to JSON, the log file that we saw earlier, and asking us for the questions that that we've seen before. So I'm just going to run it. Okay, so package name, yeah, simple exe is good enough. Version, I'm happy with it. Description, an example. All up. So here you see that he asks for the entry point. So in this case, it's going to be simple exe. So it's not really important that you do this correctly unless you want to add tests. So you can do unit tests on these things. And in that case, the entry point has a meaning, but otherwise is not, not useful. So here we're not going to specify any test because we don't need it. We're too good for that. The Git repository, we don't have one, but if we get one, then we would put it. And the keywords, this is if you want to publish your package, eventually it makes it searchable. So the author would pass all of this. The license we're up. Is this okay? Yes, it's okay. And you see that it prints out basically the package that JSON is going to create. Okay. Okay. And so we have it here. And now we want to install this commander. So we do npm install or commander. And boom, is done. Cat just outputs the content of whatever file you give it. So we're going to look at package.json just to make sure that the commander is there, and you see it's version 1.810. Okay, so you can do also, yeah, Control P moves to the previous. I think you can use the up and down arrows too. No, not on my Mac. Control P. You can do the -i, and what was the name of the other package here that we had? Oh, by the way, so there are two things here that you can call up. One is the palette that we used before when we did the install of the code command line. No, that's the command palette, and this one is just the palette. So if you do on Mac, it's Apple P, and in Windows, I think that the key binding is different. If you just type that, then this window opens, and here it shows you a set of choices. And these are the files that are in this folder. Yeah. So all you have to do if you want to load a file, say a README, you see that we have we have one here. So you just type R, and then it shows it up there. And then you put return, and then you see it. So I'm going to just to look at the, and that's faster than to go to here and browse. Okay. And this you can close with, on Mac is Apple B, but you need to look for the key bindings that are here, keyboard shortcuts. So if you're in Windows or Mac, you go there and it will take you to a website where you see the most used ones, and that's kind of useful. So I wanted to see the package.json. Here we are. Everything, no, that's not the right one. That's the one in simple.exe. Okay, and here we have, oh, CSV parse. So that's the other one. Okay, so that's because it has a different name. What did I put in the slides? CSV parse. I'm pretty sure I did this. Oh, so yeah, no. I think I have, yeah, my lighting is wrong. I think it's the other way around. This doesn't work. You need to do, if you want, npm. Yeah, I had the -I shortcut wrong. Install. Yeah, I don't know what was the shortcut. Yeah, maybe somebody can look it up. I thought it was -I, but looks like I'm mistaken. Yeah, look it up online. If you find, let me know. So yeah, so now we can try to look at this guy again, and you see that the CSV parse is there. And you see that the node modules are there also. So he already, as we installed it, he pulled them, and so they're ready to go. The rest of the stuff here is just to create here a file that does nothing because it just prints. But let me do it so that I'll show you what this does. So here what we're doing is we're creating this file with the cat command and pipe redirected into my CLI. So my CLI is a file that's going to get created. And the next lines are what we're going to write into. So I'm doing it with the shell, but obviously you can just open a window and cut and paste these two lines in there. So the first line, I'm going to okay, and then see. I don't know if I can. What is it? Yeah, so it doesn't know about it because we did it outside of the folder. So my CLI. Oh, I have something wrong here. I think that the comments, okay. Cat my CLI. Okay. Yeah, is the, yeah, if you want to do the same with the command line, I put a comment behind the cat and it gets interpreted. So he thinks that I'm trying to pass arguments to cat, which I'm not doing. So the first line in the my CLI here, this is for a Unix system. And what I'm telling it is that what I want is that he runs it with Node. So this is normally installed in a Unix system. In Windows, you probably need to put something different. Yeah, I think that you need to do in Windows. It's a little bit more complicated. You need to create, yeah, to select the file and then specify that you want to open it with Node. And in that case, it's going to, you can double click it. And or if you're using the git bash, this is probably installed in there. And then the second line is just a console log. So this is the prime way in which you debug JavaScript. And the simplest and most used is that JavaScript has this object that is called the console. And it has, the console has several methods. One of them is the log. That is a function. That's just a method that takes arguments. And the arguments is what you want to see printed. Okay, so here I'm passing just a string that is below my CLI. And now if I make this stuff executable, mod plus x my CLI, sorry, my CLI. Okay, if you just type my CLI, it looks in the path, and it doesn't include, for security reason, the current directory, because it doesn't want the system, I mean, whoever created the operating system, they don't want you to run the commands by mistake. So you need to say explicitly that is the one that is in the current folder, which you do with the /. And it does what you expect, that it prints out this command line. Yeah. So I did it with the command here, but you can also do it just opening an editor and pasting the data in there. Now, if you don't want to do all of these, and or it's because it's impractical, say you're in Windows, can you run it with the IDE? So the IDE is the integrated development environment, that is the Visual Studio Code, right? So I'm going to show you how you can do that, and I'll go back to the example that is that has the code for the commander, so we can also take a peek at that. Simple exe here. Okay, so you see that it's color coded nicely. So we know. Let me try to remove again this zoom window from our face. Okay. So the first line is the same, obviously, because we want to have it executable, because here we're on Mac. I can give you a little bit, I mean, at this point, you're going to get familiar with this time, but I can give you a little overview of the code, so you see that there's nothing insane. The first line there, the require commander, this is basically require is a way for loading libraries that are in the form of modules. And those are, we know that these are in the node modules folder. So the require, what it does is that he understands that when you ask it to get a module by name, in this case commander, is going to go and look into the node modules for you and load it and set it as a variable. So here the variable is the program. Yeah. And then we use it. So obviously, so here you see what it's basically doing. We're saying this program has a description. This is the description of what it does. And these are the ways that you can call it with the different options. And this is what needs to happen when you call it with a file name. Yeah. And so all this is documented in the commander, which at this point we don't care, but we're just looking at the structure to understand a little bit what this thing is doing. Here we do the same thing, but you notice that there are a couple of changes. The first one is there we declare with var. So in JavaScript, the variables are not typed. They're guessed at runtime. And so when you declare a variable, you just say var whatever. If you don't put the var, it's going to put it for you. And as soon as you give it a value, it's going to guess what it is. If it's an object or a string or a number, okay? And that is a big source of trouble with JavaScript because you think that you have a type, and but then you have a different one, and your code doesn't work, and you spend days trying to figure out why. So people have started allowing you to change this var, and we're going to see that there is also another problem with the var, that is that the way the place, the location where you declare the variable doesn't really match your expectations. So in Python, for instance, in all the C, C++, the scope of the variables is the block of code that you declare it within, right? If you do a for loop, and you declare it in the for loop, it's going only to be living in this for loop. In JavaScript, the variables, they live everywhere. And their scope is the scope of the function that they're inside. So here, this is the main scope. So this is, regardless of where you declare it, it's going to appear up there at the top when it's interpreted. And that creates some trouble because you've been inside a function, you think, oh, my variable, I'm going to set the value here, but if you don't declare it or redeclare it with a var, because it's the version that is inside the function, then it's not going to override what is outside. Yeah, and that creates all sorts of confusion. And we're going to see this next time. The other thing is the use of this const and let. So the let basically allows you to do what you expect from a variable. That is that you put it in the scope of the current piece of code. So here this variable is going to be here. It's not going to affect anything outside of it. So similar to the Python. So you're better off using the let most of the time. And the const, because everything is mutable, it means that you can change any variable at any place, at any time. A lot of times there are things that you don't want to change. Say the commander, we don't want to change. Somebody developed it for us, we certainly don't want to do anything to it. And so in that case, you're better off saying it's a constant variable, and then you use it. So here we're doing the same with this FS that allows us to access files in the file system. So here we're in Node, so it's just a regular interpreter, and when it runs, you can access the files that are close by. Yeah, so this is the CVS parse package that is going to allow us to parse the file. And this is the data, and here we see the notation for an array. Okay, so most of the time, yeah, not most of the time, so ways in visualizations, you put your data into an array. So all the packages are assuming that. So there can be a hierarchical structure into the array that is either in the form of array of arrays or array of objects with key property values. And then you need to handle it when you do the plotting. Yeah. So all this is you don't invent this stuff. It's based on the library here. It's free. This is doing streams. So we get the file, we put it in a stream, so we can process it as each data point is coming in. And when we're done reading it, then we do this. Yeah. And all I'm doing there is basically reading CSV and writing JSON. Yeah, and all of these are just to manipulate the file name to switch from CSV JSON. Don't worry. This one is actually useful here. So here what I'm doing, where is my JSON? Here. So here you see, so this JSON is an array. Yeah, and I push, the push just adds at the end of the start into the array, the new element And here we're adding an object with key value pairs because this CSV data happens to have 3 columns. And so we are tested like this, but it doesn't matter. So this is a JavaScript object. Yeah. And I want to write it out as JSON. So there is a distinction between the JSON and the JavaScript object. A JSON object, you see here that the key and the values can be anything. They can be arrays, they can be objects, they can be just a name tag. But not necessarily a string. In JSON, it needs to be a string. Yeah. Now, if you try to print with the console log a JavaScript object, we can do this here. Okay, node. Okay, I'm going to say JSON equal. Okay, I don't know. 1, 2, 2. Again, I'm using single quotes, double quotes, doesn't matter, but you want to be consistent. Here it is. So here we have a JSON object, okay? And now, okay, yeah, not a good thing. Oh, yeah, I don't know actually if the console is working here. Yeah, console.log JSON. Normally it prints. Okay, so it doesn't work. If you do it in the browser, it's going to print something like object. Which doesn't help you to see what's inside. Okay, so what I'm doing up there is using this standard call from JavaScript. So JavaScript understands JSON, and by default you get this function that writes your JSON as a string. So it actually prints this. Yeah. So when you're debugging inside the browser, this is useful. So here I'm just using it to write the object in the file as a string, because otherwise I would get a file with these strings written inside, and that's not going to help us much. Yeah. Okay, but we will see this because this is used also when you want to clone objects in JavaScript. Okay, so I think we saw this one. How you debug it? So I think I put it in here. So, or how do you run and debug it into the IDE? So one way is to use the console log. So you see, I have one here. So if I'm going to, okay, are we at the right place? Okay, we did the npm. Okay, no, we're not at the right place. Okay. Okay, so if oftentimes you have the things open in the editor and then you want to know where they are in here. So there is a menu here that is reveal in sidebar. Okay, and here you can say copy path, so you can get there. Okay. Okay, so we have it here. Oh, so yeah, so it's not doing anything. Is that right? Import exec. Okay. Okay. So I just want to show you the command log in action. Oh, well, I think we're done. It's 3:50. Okay. So I guess we'll continue this next time. Yeah. We need more time. We need more time. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you can. So we'll sort out the question with the IDs, and then you can start the homework. The homework is independent of this. Okay. And then we'll finish up the lab on Monday.
Okay. No, we share this from the screen to us. We create it like we'll save that one. It's that.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
I mean,
If you like, let me test.
yeah, but you have the recording.
Yeah, like, see, there's like, just like
Copy,
by the
copy.
from,
yeah,
you
you
select
need to
all, just select all and copy. Yeah, and just like do there, like I think you can paste like in the Slack.
Yeah, there is another class. I think.
Yeah, there's another class.
Yeah.
And in the Slack, I think there's like you can do like the code block and paste it.
Okay, let's try to do this quickly. Yeah. I'll put it here.
Like,
Okay. So
you
this
do like
is
the slash, and there is
slash.
a code
I think it's this one, no?
code snippet.
No.
So slash.
Yeah, I see what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember?
Oh, here. Code. If you like, I think you're gonna first paste and then add it to code. Yeah, I think it's this one.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, because it's too small.
Oh, that's there. I think this one.
Yeah, but
It's not working.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, you have to click that. Click this. No. Click this.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Click this and
Okay, good.
array. Paste it. Yeah.
I don't know if you got it right.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Like, yeah. A1. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can add it later as well. So. Like,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did only the first line. But
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
one. Yeah.
I'll try.